Match the federal program to its best description. Title I provided direct funding for schools with high populations of students from low-income families. GI Bill provides education for veterans. Civil Rights Act, commitment to equity. Head Start, community-based early childhood program. NDEA funded research and educational programs that focused on math, science, and foreign language. NCLB exerts a variety of federal controls over local schools. Match the following government and non-government agencies with the best description. Regional Educational Laboratories, 10 laboratories that provide curriculum development, technical assistance, and evaluation. NCATE, the most prominent national organization that accredits teacher preparation programs. National Science Foundation, created to promote the progress of science. Bureau of Indian Affairs, manages many of the schools on Native American reservations. NTASC created a set of principles that describe what teachers should know and be able to do. AFT, the second largest teachers union that actively supports school improvement programs. Department of the Interior, Children of National Park employees, Samoa and territories of the Pacific Islands. NEA, largest teachers union. It is committed to improving working conditions. Department of Education, created to help establish effective school systems. Match the milestone name with the description. GI Bill provides education for veterans. Affirmative action, policies and procedures designed to compensate for past discrimination against women and minorities. 14th Amendment ensures equal educational opportunity. 10th Amendment grants each state the power to provide for public education. Individuals with Disabilities Act, IDEA, provides a free, appropriate public education for students with disabilities. First Amendment provides the Freedom of Speech Clause and the Establishment Clause. Section 504 is a Civil Rights Act that addresses equal treatment, appropriate education, and people with disabilities. National Defense Act, NDEA, provides federal money to improve the science, math, engineering, and language programs. Determine whether the following agencies are government or non-government. National Science Foundation, government. Regional Education Laboratories, government. AFT, non-government. NEA, non-government. TEAC, non-government. Department of Education, government. Bureau of Indian Affairs, government. Department of the Interior, government. NTASC, non-government. NCATE, non-government. Current trends in education and educational reform practice quiz. IDEA stands for the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. IDEA, which originated as Public Law 94-142, requires that students with disabilities have access to the same academic curriculum as students without disabilities. True or false? Reducing oppression, providing equity in education, and establishing workplace rights are some of the common goals shared by civil rights activists of both racial and ethnic minorities and people with disabilities. True. True or false? Technology can be a strong motivator, help track students' learning, and support students by facilitating communication among teachers, students, and families. True. Each of the following is a criticism of the NCLB, No Child Left Behind, with the exception of the federal government has spent too much money funding it. Title I of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act was designed to provide additional money for districts with high populations of students from low-income families. True or false? According to the 10th Amendment of the Constitution, the responsibility for education is controlled by the federal government. False. True or false? Non-governmental groups cannot influence educational policy and practice. False. True or false? The No Child Left Behind Act has been very controversial because schools that do not demonstrate adequate yearly progress, AYP, as measured by standardized test scores are subject to a series of sanctions and can be closed. True. Which of the following is not a purpose of the Department of Education? Making major policy decisions related to curriculum, particularly the development of academic content standards. The National Board for Professional Teaching Standards, NBPTS, is an organization that reviews representative work of experienced teachers to determine whether their work merits their gaining board certification as accomplished teachers. True or false? One of the skills under the Learning and Innovation Skills of the 21st Century Knowledge and Skills Framework is critical thinking. True. True or false? The National Education Association and American Association of School Librarians partnership developed the framework for teaching and learning that stretches from preschool through graduate school. That is true. ELL, English Language Learners definitions. Match each of the terms below with a description. Students with disabilities and English language learners have to be provided with appropriate accommodations to support their learning as outlined in the standards. Opportunity to learn. The goal of this program is acquisition of English language skills so that the ELL student can succeed in an English-only mainstream classroom. Structured English immersion. An instructional approach used to make academic instruction in English understandable to ELL students. sheltered English instruction. Remove students from mainstream classrooms for a portion of the day in order to give them specialized instruction in English. Pull out ESL. An educational program that provides instruction in English and a second language, usually Spanish. Two-way immersion. Separate, relatively self-contained educational interventions designed to meet the academic and transitional needs of newly arrived immigrants. Newcomer program. Social issues and influence on education. Practice quiz. True or false? Montessori schools reflect project-based learning. False. Magnet schools were developed to retain middle-class students in inner-city schools. Culturally responsive teaching is also referred to by all of the following terms except culturally incongruent teaching. English language learners, ELL students, are students whose first language is not English. According to estimates, how many gay people are raising children? 1 million. True or false? According to the text, of younger co-resident grandparents, half have primary responsibility for their grandchildren. True. In order to be an effective teacher for all of her students, Miss Carson spends a great deal of time in the community learning about the students' life experiences and the resources they bring to her classroom. She views their life experiences as assets which will help enrich the classroom and connect what they know to what they need to learn. Miss Carson is working to achieve professional commitment number 3, crossing your own familiar borders to embrace diversity. True or false? STEM is an acronym referring the academic disciplines of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. True. True or false? Charter schools are private schools. False. True or false? Socioeconomic status plays a major role in testing performance. True. True or false? Sexual orientation is defined as the type of sexual, romantic, and or physical attraction someone feels toward others. True. True or false? Children who are homeless cannot attend school. False. Match the amendment. This amendment grants each state the power to provide for public education. The 10th Amendment. This amendment ensures equal educational opportunity. 14th Amendment. This amendment provides for freedom of speech, religion, and of the press. First Amendment. Education and federal and state law. Practice quiz, Module 4. Accountability is defined primarily in terms of standardized test results. According to the text, there is not a direct correlation between teenage pregnancy and child abuse and neglect. Prior to 1975, special education functioned much like another low, homogeneous academic track. Public schools receive their funding from all of the above: federal dollars, state allocations, and property taxes. LEA is an acronym for local education agency. Which of the following officials are generally hired directly by the Board of Education? Superintendent. Legal decisions that seek equity in education usually derive their power from the Equal Protection Clause. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, known as FERPA, defines who may have access to student records and under what circumstances. True or false? Your employer can monitor your emails sent to you from a work email account. True. True or false? Enabling laws are rules and regulations created by the executive branch. False. The NEA Code of Ethics encompasses which principle? Commitment to students and teacher behaviors with regard to the profession and colleagues. Match the terms below to their best descriptions. Module 5. STEM, the focus on developing science, technology, engineering, and mathematics curriculum. Professional learning communities, teams of teachers who work together to improve student learning. Success for All was developed around the core assumption that every child can read. School Development Program, a research-based comprehensive K-12 education reform program. School Improvement Process, an approach for gradual improvement of school curricula. Standards-based curriculum, Module 5, practice quiz. Academic content standards refer to formal statements of what students know and should be able to do in each of the content areas at various points in their P through 12 education. True or false? Academic content standards and curriculum guides are interchangeable terms used to describe what students should know and be able to do in each of the content areas at the various point in their P through 12 education. False. True or false? Academic standards vary from state to state in the way they are organized and the direction they provide for teachers. True. True or false? The creation of academic standards in response to a nation at risk, the imperative for educational reform, is an example of a national influence on curriculum. True. True or false? The United States has a single national curriculum where education is centralized at the national level. False. True or false? The intent of the Common Core state standards is to develop standards that focus on what is most essential and to make standards that are learning centered. True. True or false? School improvement process was designed around the core assumption that every child can read. False. The school development program is a research-based comprehensive K-12 education reform program grounded in the principles of child, adolescent, and adult development. True or false? A concern with the Common Core state standards is they will expand until they become a national curriculum. True. True or false? All states must adopt the Common Core state standards. False.